This is God's Covenant Church, the Church of God established in Jesus' name. I'm thanking God for another Sabbath day in the School of Wisdom, and I am yet glad to be in the Church of God, yet glad to be with His people. And I'm glad I'm a part of God's church. And it's exciting to me to be living for God, finding out more about His way, more about the teaching, and to have someone to bring the word that I may apply it to my life. And I'm going to present unto you our pastor who's teaching us the ways of God, our pastor, Perry Boyd.
Thank you, Elder Philip. To our elders, missionary deacons, all the saints, all that hear my voice. We do greet you in the name of Jesus. Another Sabbath day. Glad to be with you. Glad for our anointed that's going on. We're continuing steadfast in the prophets and the apostles' doctrine. I want to talk to you today about dying. Why no one wants to die when you know you have to die. But the enemy is trying to take that out of the thoughts of those that say they love God. We're going to get into that thought, and before that, my prayer.
A striving saint with brethren, how am I? Do I fellowship and love all men in wisdom? For the example shows how the Lord is of no respect of persons. Marking the perfect man, I implement good judgment. I sacrifice to die with Christ. Daily I gain, and His ways made known. His acts I must maintain. So my prayer,
watch and pray and not cease.
My prayer,
believe when I can't see.
I pray
not for a vain
God. I pray not for the world.
My need is a
prayer.
Keep me walking blamelessly
from sin.
Lord, keep me holy.
This is my prayer in Christ, my reasonable sacrifice.
This is my reasonable sacrifice.
Out in the world, while on my job, I'm yet praying. While driving home, while on the phone, I'm still saying, Lord, keep me mindful of the instructions from a holy teaching. Let my words yea be yea, and my nays be nays from the right spirit. I don't pray out loud, excited crowds, telling how that I live holy. But I pray in private, in silence, in my mind is daily. So my prayer,
watch and pray and not see.
My prayer,
believe when I can't see.
I pray
not for a vain life.
Oh, I pray not for the world.
My need
so listen, my prayer,
keep me walking blamelessly.
This is my prayer in Christ, my reasonable sacrifice.
This is my reasonable sacrifice.
Without ceasing,
always wanting
for my God to lead me
in all ways of truth through righteousness.
And I thank the Lord for me. Establishing me. My God is keeping me by the word
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank God for our choir. Deacon Debbie, we have announcements.
You can visit us at any time for our broadcast messages at www.godscovenantchurch.org. Write and mail us at 425 Laconia Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 90061. Or call us at any time at area code 323-754-8302. You can email us at info@godscovenantchurch.org. Also, you can subscribe to our podcast at www.godscovenantchurch.org. If you have any questions or concerns about this way or questions about any scriptures, please text us at area code 323-388-5676, and we will strive to get you the answer on our program. Again, that number is area code 323-388-5676. Now the pastor.
Thank you, Deacon. Thank God. Another Sabbath day. Glad to be with you. Glad for our choir. I enjoyed that number, My Prayer. And we might have been a little sluggish, but that's all right. We're saved here. That's what's important. Isn't that beautiful? And what's important is that no one came in from a hangover from playing on some club, or, we don't do that. We don't serve Mammon's table and the Lord's. We serve one table here. Deuteronomy 4:6 says, "Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people." We believe Moses. Moses was the model preacher, and the Lord came just like him. One thing the Lord knew when he got here, when he became of age and began to strive to live for God, he realized he had to die. And the secret is all of us have to die. So when you know you have to die, you're more apt to put the teaching in action. But what the devil have done is taking death off the table from all of those that love God. And the devil said, Jesus did it all for you. He did it for mankind, but you have to die as well if you truly accept his gift. Let's go to Job 14:14. Jesus came here, and he came up like you and I. And everyone doesn't come up in a religious or a God-serving family, but he did. And just like then, it is today. So many people are called by his name, but they don't know him, and they don't know his plan of salvation. Job 14:14, what does it say, Deacon?
If a man die, shall he live again?
So everyone is going to live on after we leave this life. Everyone is going to live on. Death is a separation. And there's two deaths. We're going to be separated from this earth, and then there's a separation from God. Read that again.
If a man die, shall he live again?
That's the question. What?
All the days of my appointed time will I wait.
Now, we are appointed a time here on earth, and the only one knows that time frame is God. And we are going to make a change. And it's going to be naturally first or spiritual. We were all born in this life spiritually dead. So we have to be born again, because the only thing that's going back to God is the spirit.
Yes.
We're separated from God when we came into this life because of what Adam did. In order to live for God, and the Lord said, you must be born again. That means we have to die.
Yes.
This death is spiritual. If we die now, we won't have to die again. Those that don't take on the spiritual death, they're going to die once. When they die the natural death, the spiritual death, they've already separated from God. They just go on to their father, which is the devil. Yes. Is that hard to understand? That's pretty simple, isn't it?
Yes, Pastor.
Read that again, 14.
If a man die, shall he live again?
Mm-hmm.
All the days of my appointed time will I wait. till my change.
So a change is coming. We choose to change now. Isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
Let's go to Ecclesiastes 3
right.
and 1. So, because of the cares of this life, so many choose not to get ready now. They choose not to die now, but we are dying daily. We die now so that we won't have to be separated from God later. We're with God now because we've been born again. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, I think that's pretty plain. 3 and 1, Ecclesiastes.
To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven.
So the purpose why we come in this life is to show God if we love God. That's our purpose. God wants to see who loves me. This is the game. Here you are. Either you come after me or you just go on into the pile of the forgotten, of the separated, which is hell, which is the devil. Isn't that beautiful to know that?
Yes.
Read. A time.
A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted.
So we've come to God and we've found out the time to die is now. Before that natural death hits our body. Before that natural separation from the earth. Before that natural spirit leaves that body. So we want to change that spirit that's going to leave here so the spirit can go back to God, right?
Yes.
We want to change. That beautiful? Yes. Let's go to Hebrews 9:27. Let's go there.
Beautiful.
Thank God for knowledge. And maybe someone, besides rejecting what I'm saying, will listen. Because anytime you say Jesus, it's not only about his death, you have opposition. They say, don't talk about my Lord. And what I'm trying to let you know is he really isn't yours if you're not keeping God's commandments, if you're not dying daily. He's not your Lord. Isn't that beautiful? We're going to be like him, right? 9:27 Hebrews.
And as it is appointed unto men once to die.
It's appointed. So when you come in this life, it's appointed you're going to die, right? The secret is, which life do you choose? You want to die, wait on the natural death, or you want to die to that spiritual? You're appointed a time to die.
Right.
And you can say, well, I'm going to die now, so I don't have to die again. Isn't that beautiful? It's appointed unto man once to die. What?
But after this, the judgment.
So we that are striving to die daily, we're getting judgment.
Right.
Guiding us how to die. And we get judgment on our death and how it's taking hold in our life. That dying daily. Isn't that beautiful?
It is beautiful.
But that's because we know we got to die. Before I came to God's Covenant Church, before I came to the commandments, I didn't know I had to die. All I know is he did it. And I'm still hearing. He did it. He did. But you have to die too. Isn't that beautiful?
Right.
We have to die.
Yes.
Let's go to St. John 12:23. Let's do that. Thank God. Certain thoughts your brain, you don't get too much reaction. If you're not talking about Daniel in the lion's den, you may not get nobody throwing their coat up on the stage or on the pulpit at you. But if you want to start talking about what they did, you get a few in the back start dancing. But let's not rejoice over their life. Let's rejoice over what we're doing. Okay? Isn't that beautiful? See, the Hebrew boys, they knew they were getting ready to die. And guess what? They knew they were supposed to die. They said, we ain't even careful.
That's right.
That's when you talk when you know you're supposed to die. But if you don't know you're supposed to die, you say, oh, I ain't going to do that. Everything, I ain't got to do it. He did it. He did it. Right. It ain't like that in God. No, it's not. 12:23, what does it say?
And Jesus answered them, saying, the hour is come that the Son of Man should be glorified.
The Lord knew in a process of time, just like we, that when you truly come to God, you learn, whoa, what this is all about. Wait a minute, I didn't know this is what it's all about. You find out. Once he began to live for God, he found out who he was and what he had to do. Isn't that beautiful?
Yes, it is.
Read.
Verily, verily, I say unto you, except a corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abideth alone. But if it die, it bringeth forth much fruit.
That's what he taught. That's what he understood. We have to die, because to go back with God, we have to change our spirit. Because God ain't accepting the spirit that fell in the garden. It ain't accepting that one. You got to come with a new spirit. Isn't that beautiful? Yes. his nature. Isn't that beautiful? Striving to get it. Isn't that beautiful? Read.
He that loveth his life shall lose
So wait a
it.
minute now. You got to die, but if you like the way you are now, you're going to die. What did it say? He that loveth his life, you're going to die. You're going to lose it. You love this way, your little spirit you got, you're going to lose that. What?
He that loveth his life shall lose it, and he that hateth his life in this world shall
But
keep
if
it.
you hate the way your spirit is, you're going to change and you're going to keep that new spirit until life eternal.
Right. Beautiful. Yes.
But you got to die because you got to be born again. You can't have one without the other. Isn't that beautiful? Read.
If any man serve me, let him follow me.
What?
And where I am, there shall also my servant be.
Now, wait a minute. So if you follow me, you got to follow my servant. But if you follow my servant, you're going to know you have to die. And that's what happened. When he began to speak about death, all he got was rejection because that's not in the norm for the carnal mind. But they want life, but they don't want to talk about the death part. Isn't that beautiful? To know that? Everybody like to talk about life, but not the death. Everybody want to go on vacation, but they don't want to pay the money. Right? Okay. Read.
If any man serve me, him will my Father honor. Now is my soul troubled, and what shall I say? Father, save me from this hour. But for
Wait a
this
minute. What are you going to say? Save me from this? He knew he had to die. And I'm saying he knew this early on. He realized who he was through the scripture. This is me, and I got to die. Just like all of us, you got to say, you know what, I got to die. You have to realize, I have to lose this nature. If you don't, you ain't going nowhere. Isn't that beautiful? Let's go to Luke 2:42.
All right. Beautiful, beautiful.
Jesus learned just like you and I. He said, my Lord knew all things. Well, he didn't know when he was no child because he wasn't Lord then. He was a child. He was God, a spirit that took on flesh, which means he was a child and a person that wasn't dominated by or didn't have the nature of God.
Go ahead.
Because if he had, he would have been cheating.
Yes.
And if he had the nature of God, then he would have been serving as Lord then. He wasn't serving as Lord then.
That's right.
He was a child.
Go ahead.
He was subject.
Beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
Luke 2:42. What does it say?
And when he was 12 years old, they went up to Jerusalem after the custom of the feast. And when they had filled the days as they returned, the child Jesus tarried behind in Jerusalem. And Joseph and his mother knew not of it.
Wait, 12 years old. This is about bar mitzvah's days. But he was getting a mindset looking towards God. Isn't that beautiful? Around 12, he was getting stirred, like into Samson in the camp.
Beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful?
All right.
46, what does it say?
And it came to pass that after 3 days they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them
Wait a minute.
questions.
So if you really want to die, you gotta start asking questions. You get in the midst of those guys there and say, now, when a person do this, what should I do? And when a person do this, I always come back with this. What should I do? You need to ask the doctor. But no, so many times ones are comfortable with the way they come forth and they just make provisions for it, and then they don't go, they just go in circles. Isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
48, what did 48 say?
And when they saw him, they were amazed.
What?
And his mother said to him, Son, why hast thou thus
Well, that's what
dealt
happens
with us?
when you get a mind start living for God. Hey, I want to go to church tonight. I'm going so and so. They look at you straight like, what's your problem? What is this all about? They were trying to figure out what's going on with you. Why you didn't tell us? God was dealing with it.
Yes.
His mind was turning.
Yes.
Isn't that beautiful? What?
Behold, thy father and I have sought thee sorrowing.
Mm-hmm.
And he said unto them, How is it that ye sought me? Wist ye not that I must be about my father's
You
business?
haven't married. Y'all church folks, don't y'all know who I am? And you know, the Lord told you who I was when I was little. It's about that time.
Yes, Pastor. Beautiful.
And I know that's what you feel. You know why? Because it says she pondered those things. Her and Joseph. Oh, is now? Is he going to be Lord now? He's only 12.
That's something. Beautiful.
18 more years before he started preaching, or more.
Yes.
12, but he waited 18 years before he started preaching. That means he must do a lot of living.
Yes.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
And I don't think he was going around making rocks float around in the sky showing his buddies. No. He wasn't doing that because he didn't have that kind of power. Right. Isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
Let's go to Deuteronomy 30 and 15. Let's see what the Father's business is.
Yes, that's it. Beautiful.
God is in the business of saving souls. And guess what he's in the business of? Y'all gonna find out in a minute.
All right, Pastor.
If y'all stay with me on you just on the podcasters.
All right.
What do you call them? Twitters? What do you call that stuff? I don't care about that, Joe. 30 and 15, Deuteronomy, what does it say?
Yes, Pastor. See, I have set before thee this day life and good,
What?
and death and evil.
The Lord is in the business of life and death.
All right.
That's his business. Did you know that? Read.
And in that I command thee this day to love the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments and his statutes.
Wait a minute. If he was
and
about the
judgments
Father's
and his
business,
judgments.
that's what he was doing. He was learning how to live for God. And wait a minute, you think that's only, it wasn't just, he was getting teaching. It didn't say he went and took the scriptures and went in the corner and started reading the scripture by himself. Or say, he didn't have no scripture, he just started quoting the scriptures in front of the. He didn't say that. He was asking questions because he was learning the right way through a body. And his understanding was so sharp, he said, well, wait a minute, what is this? That's normal. When we all come to God, don't one on the left or right ask maybe more questions than you do. So always someone got more understanding than the other. He had great understanding.
Yes.
He was born that way, just like, what's this, Brahms or one of those, Sebastian? 4 and 5 years old creating scores. Those are gifts. But the gift means nothing if it's not for God. But he had a gift. His understanding there, he understood. Isn't that beautiful? I understood a lot when I first came out. It wasn't very little I didn't understand. I said, I understand that. Anybody had to perk my ears? I said, oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Right in the heart. Boom. Whoop. Yep. Got it. You know what I'm saying? All right. Come on. Read.
That thou mayest live and multiply, and the Lord thy God shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess
Well, wait a
it.
minute. If that was about the Father's business, he must have been keeping God's commandments. Right. That was on his mind being about that business. Let's go to St. John. Let's know. What's the 19th verse say? I call.
19, yes, Pastor. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you.
What?
That I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live.
Is that what he did in the garden with Adam? He's in the business of life and death. And you know how he's in the business of death? We're going to find out. Thank God. 19, what does it say? I call, oh, you read that, right? Yes. Let's go to St. John 3 and 5. Let's go there.
All right.
If you die, you got to be born again. Now, that would tell me that the Lord must have been born again. That's why he preached it.
All right.
He said, you can't even see the kingdom till you've been born again, which means the Lord was saying, I'm a witness. I'm seeing the king like I never saw it. He saw who he was and where he had to go. He saw that. And so do we. Isn't that beautiful? And so do a lot of people come in here because when the knowledge comes and they see it, you'll find out where they'll go to because there ain't no beauty in it. Died? I thought he did that. I believe he died. What else? What you want me to do? Come out. Separate yourself.
That's right. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I got to go to work though.
Right.
That's why you're not saved. That's why you're not Abraham's seed, right? St. John 3 and 5.
Jesus answered, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born of water and of the Spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of God.
So wait a minute. In other words, this kingdom, this is not natural. This is by the Spirit and water. What?
That which is born of the flesh is flesh.
So we're not talking about flesh. And the Lord said flesh and blood is not going in here, not going in there. So what are we preparing for? The spirit, the mind to go in there because flesh and blood. So you got to be born again, but not flesh and blood. What?
And that which is born of the Spirit is spirit.
Now what we talking about? We got to get the spirit right to get in. Let's clean the spirit up. Because if that ain't cleaned up, ain't going nowhere. So, you still got the habit of making up stuff, covering up. It ain't going nowhere. That's what's got to get clean to go in. Isn't that beautiful? What?
Marvel not that I said unto thee, ye must be born again.
Don't marvel at that. 5th verse, read it again.
Yes, Pastor. Jesus answered, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born of water and of the Spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of God.
Matthew 16:24.
All right, Pastor.
He's giving you all the criteria of what we have to do, and he's giving you the same thing by telling you what you can't do. Telling you all what you must do. Must die, but yet you must be born again.
Right.
So death come first, then come the birth. Right? Wrong. Birth comes, then the death comes.
All right, Pastor. Beautiful.
They're simultaneous. They're both the same. Because you can't die unless you've been born again. You can't be born again unless you die. Right? Okay. I like that. 16:24. Let's read that.
Then said Jesus unto his disciples, If any man will come after me, let him deny himself.
There it is again. That's the dying. You have to deny yourself of the things that old man would do. Deny yourself. Stop it. That's what he's saying.
Beautiful.
Right? What?
And take up his cross and follow me.
Take up and follow me. What?
For whosoever will save his life shall lose it.
What life are you talking about? He's talking about the old life. And it's the spiritual mindset. That's what he's talking about. This natural body ain't going anywhere. Regardless of how you guide it here, it ain't going nowhere. Jesus guided that natural body into helping people and loving people, but the natural body still didn't go to heaven. It was somewhere, but it got buried in the elements. It didn't go into the kingdom, right? So that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about the spiritual man, that spirit we have dying if it's not the Spirit of God. That's what we're talking about, right?
Right.
Read.
And whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find
So
it.
if you lose that old spirit, you're going to find a better spirit, the Spirit of God. You're going to find God's Spirit. Isn't that beautiful? 1 Peter 5:4. Let's go there.
First Peter, yes, Pastor.
Thank God. 5 and 4. We got time here.
All right, Pastor.
We can go through the scriptures on and on and on. But we do have an appreciation coming up.
Oh,
and
yes,
the
we
saints
do.
have to
Yes.
practice for the appreciation. All of the one or two people watching can come to the appreciation. I don't have no problem with that.
All right.
Where there's 2 or 3 gathered and agreeing. The Lord said, I'll be a God in the midst.
Yes.
It is funny, something, but really, it's not.
Go ahead.
Because you find 1 or 2 righteous in this city, you got
Go
something.
ahead.
It ain't funny. It is funny, but it ain't funny. Like, oh, that's funny. Look at them peoples. Yeah, we're in heavenly places too.
Go ahead. Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Now, if you can't see that, you're not in a heavenly place. If you think what we're doing is vain or old time, you're in the wrong place.
Right.
And I don't have a problem with that. Isn't that beautiful?
Most beautiful.
Now, 1 Peter 5 and 4, what does it say?
And when the chief shepherd shall appear, ye shall receive a crown of glory that
Well, wait a
fadeth
minute.
not away.
What do you think the chief shepherd does? Anybody? Let's open up, Sister Franny. Thank God.
Yes, Pastor. Beautiful, Pastor. Beautiful.
Most beautiful, Pastor.
Thank God.
You can visit us at any time for our broadcast messages at www.godscovenantchurch.org. Write and mail us at 425 Laconia Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 90061. Or call us at any time at area code 323-754-8302. You can email us at info@godscovenantchurch.org. Also, you can subscribe to our podcast at www.godscovenantchurch.org.